and all participants joining us today in this national webinar. I am Anushri Kose, your moderator of webinar, graduated BTech Dairy Technology and MBA in HR and Marketing as Manager Production in Madhya Pradesh State Cooperative Dairy Federation, brand name Sanchi, Indore. I feel privileged to welcome you all on behalf of College of Dairy Technology Udgir, who have clubbed all of us on this national webinar on career opportunities in dairy sector after UG and PG. As we all know, Dr. Verghese Kurian was known as the father of milk of white revolution. Dr. Verghese Kurian always will be remembered as the person who redefined the meaning of milk as a powerful tool of economic development. As milk is perishable, India is the world largest milk producer of and is leading exporter of skim milk powder and other milk products. Friends, today I would like to give brief introduction about the college and alumina. Government College of Dairy Technology, Udgir, established in year 2008 and recognized by Maharashtra Animal Fishery Science University, Nagpur. From this institute, the students graduated on an approx 200. Most of the students working in India and abroad in dairy sector. Most of the students working in MNCs like Nestle, Mother Dairy and cooperatives like Amul, Sachi, Barca and many more. It was a long-standing dream of all UG students of this. It was long-standing dream of all to form Alumina Association, CDT, AAU, College of Dairy Technology, Alumina Association, Udgir. Friends, it gives an immense pleasure to announce that CDT AAU has been formed and registered under Society Act. We have arranged this webinar so that the students and alumni get exposure regarding the global trends, development in essential analytical skills, and response towards industrial challenges, and obviously the industrial opportunities. College gives us a lot more exposure and attention towards building students' career and opportunities. In fact, CDTU is working on the same pledge to give exposure and opportunities to the students. Weldon William Inc. said, the aim of education is the knowledge not of fact but of values. It is an occasion like these we get an opportunities to test our brains link about these very dynamic issues of today's subject. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one important announcement for those who have missed to register for
Anushri, you are on mute. We can't hear you.
Hello. There is one or those who have missed to register or for this webinar, please do registration, and due to technical limitations and increased number of participants, everyone cannot join this webinar. So we will have our YouTube video soon after the webinar finished. Now we will move towards the welcome part. May I request to invite our Honorable Associate Dean, College of Dairy Technology, Udgir, District Latur, Maharashtra. Our patron, subject expert of today's webinar, Dr. M.R. Patil Sir, MSc in Dairy Chemistry from SMC College of Dairy Science, Anand, PhD in Dairy Science from Sardar Patel University, Nanded. Dr. Patil's professional achievements as below. He has started his career as a shift officer at Vidya Dairy Anand in January. During almost of 4 years with R&D PT wing of NDTB and instrumental in commercially developing Amul Paneer, Amul Emmental cheese, Amul Mozzarella cheese. After he joined the College of Dairy Technology, Varud, who served as an assistant professor in the Department of Dairy Chemistry. Dr. Patil sir is actually involved in taking research, in teaching, Dr. Patil sir is actually involved in teaching, research, and extension activities of the college. He has been mainly working in the area of toxic trace elements in the milk and milk products. He has also worked on suitability and stability of artificial sweeteners in some traditional Indian dairy products. Dr. Patil sir has published overall 65 research papers, reviews, book chapters, technical articles in journals of national and international conferences. He has published 3 books in Marathi, 16 practical manuals, and 125 popular articles in Marathi. He has delivered 6 All India Radio Talk one-line phone in program of Doordarshan Mumbai. He has been a principal investigator for ICAR ad hoc scheme and many more. He has been involved in 9 externally funded projects like ICAR, MAF, PDI, DST and RGST. Dr. Madhav Patil sir is recipient of several awards such as Best Poster Award from IDA 2003 and 2009. Again, Reviewer Excellence Award in 2016. He is life member of several professional bodies like IGA, Dairy Technology, Society of India, and Indian Society for Buffalo Development, etc. So now I would like to invite Dr. M.R. Patil sir to flag this event. Welcome you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning all. So let us start this national webinar. I congratulate all of you. Shall I start my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sure, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, friends. Myself, Dr. Madhav Raghunath Patil, Associate Dean, College of Dairy Technology, Udgir, which is a constituent college of Maharashtra Animal and Fisheries Sciences University, Nagpur. Friends, first of all, I would like to congratulate Mr. Raman Kakre, President, Alumni Association, Mr. Ketan Shetty, Secretary, Alumni Association.
Sir, your audio.
This particular national webinar on career opportunities in dairy sector after UG and PG. Friends, let us talk about the Indian dairy sector. As all of you are aware, now milk is known as white good and which can be used to make enormous varieties of high quality dairy products. As all of us are aware that milk is a complete food, so it offers us a complete nutrition. As all of us are aware that India is world's largest milk producer, which produces around 187.7 million tons of milk. And this is the latest figure of 2018-19. And if you see our share in the world dairy production is 20%. If you see the it is 394 grams per day. Now, India is the leading producer and consumer of dairy products globally with sustained growth over the year. And if you see our annual growth rate, it is almost 6.5%. It has been reported that around 50% of the milk is been handled by unorganized sector. That means this is the area where we should focus upon. Friends, we have started our journey from milk scarce to the milk sufficient country. If you see, in the year 1960, our milk production was only 17 to 22 million tons. So we were milk scarce and we were dependent on other developed nations. So we were importing the milk and milk products. But thanks to this wide revolution and dairy development schemes, so now in latest our milk production has reached up to 187 million tons and with over 21% global output. And now we are become as a net exporter of milk and milk products. Next, please. This is India's presence in the global dairy production. If you see in the year 2001, our presence in the global dairy production was. This is India's presence in the global dairy production. If you see in the year 2001, our share was 14.4% only. But as the years progress, now we have approached 21.7% share is there in our total global dairy production. That means now we are leading top. If you see next to us, it is United States of America, China, Pakistan, and Brazil. Next, please. This slide depicts about the importance of milk in the food basket. If a person is being asked to spend a rupee, where is spending? You can see from the photo itself that around 53 paisa the person is being spending on food, beverages, and tobacco. And out of this 53 paisa, 17% is spending on milk and milk products. That means a lot of scope is there for we people to look into this particular area, because next to the cereals, the consumer or the people or the persons, they are concentrating on this particular area, milk and milk product. So we have to make people aware that they should increase their spending on this particular field. Next, please. This is the consumption pattern of milk and milk product. So here you can see about 46% share. If you see about the consumption of dairy product, 46% share is of only fluid milk, followed by ghee, which is 27.5%. And next to that, all other dairy products are there like butter, yogurt, khova, milk powders, and all. So if you see, the share is even less than 10%. So what is needed is that we should make people aware of the fact that in addition to this particular product, we should focus on various indigenous dairy products like khova, pedha, paneer, barfi, paneer, and so on. In addition to that, we should also focus on the Western dairy products like ice cream, milk powder, cheeses, and so on, so that we'll be increase the share of even other dairy products into the our dairy technology field. Next, please. This is regarding the human resources in dairy and food processing sector. So the first table gives us idea about the number of persons employed in the dairy and food processing. If you see, around 1.53 million persons are employed in the organized sector, and their share is only 18%. But if you see the unorganized sector, you can see around 7 million persons they are employed in this unorganized dairy and food processing sector, and their share is very high, that is 82%. So in this particular area,
like
if we looked at, we'll have to convert
mute
most of the utilization of this milk and milk product into the organized sector. The another idea about the education profile of human resources in the dairy and food processing sector. Here you can see only 1 to 2% employees are there with the management education. So here I would like to suggest all the undergraduate students that they should focus into this particular study. They should rather prefer the management studies, so that whatever the gaps are there, whatever the vacuum is there in this particular area, so that gap can be fulfilled by our dairy technologies if they pursue management degrees. The second thing is 20% proportion of this human resources. They are they are from this food technology or dairy technology profession. That means again there is a lot of scope that we should give maximum advertisement of this particular sector, because most of the population, they are not even aware of the fact that BTech dairy technology type of education is available, food technology education is available. So we'll have to make people aware of those things. They should not only go for this engineering studies, medical studies and all those things. They should also prefer this particular area. And here the surprising fact is that 80% of these human resources, they are having education up to 10th standard or 12th standard. That means mostly they are not having any technological background. So here I would like to mention one thing, that there are two colleges in Maharashtra. One is College of Dairy Technology, Udgir, and another is College of Dairy Technology, Warud, Pusar. So these two colleges, since inception, these two colleges are involved in organizing the training for the unemployed youth, educated youth, milk vendors, or the small entrepreneurs, so that they can get maximum idea about this particular field. So these two colleges, they are organizing training, 3 days training, 5 days training, 7 days training, 10 days training, 15 days training, depending upon the requirement. So the intention behind that, at least these people should get some idea about this processing technologies, or they should get some basic idea about the dairy technology. Next, please. This is the functional distribution of human resources in dairy and food sector. From the figure itself, it is clear that 50%, 55% of these human resources, they are involved in the production. And out of this 55%, you can find only 50% they are having this BTech dairy technology background. Remaining, that is the workforce. So they are available there, but they might not be having a thorough technical knowledge about the dairy technology. Here, 20% human resources, they are involved in quality and testing of milk and milk products. But here, the surprising fact is that only 1 to 2% human resources are involved in research and development activities. Here, I will like to suggest my dairy technologists, those who are pursuing undergraduate or those who are already completed undergraduation. So they should opt master's or PhD education. They should go for MTech in various faculties of dairy technology, like dairy chemistry, dairy microbiology, dairy technology, dairy engineering, and even they may go for the even higher studies like PhD, because this particular manpower is required in most of the dairies in the R&D, and this R&D is very much needed if you want to develop good quality product, if you want to increase the shelf life of product, if you want to increase the, if you go for the value addition of the dairy product, if you want to go for the modified atmospheric packaging. Here, what is needed is that we should have more and more scientists, and for that particular purpose, the student should go for the MTech in the dairy technology, or they should go for the higher studies like PhD or postdoc. Next slide, please. This is regarding the skill gaps in the dairy and food sector. So friend, nowadays the big issue is lack of skilled and trained manpower. There is shortage of skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled workers that has emerged a critical factor which has been there in our dairy field, or even you can say in the food industry. And surprisingly, around 58% of the employees, they are dissatisfied with the technical skills as well as the knowledge. And around 72% of the employers, they showed discontent with employees' ability to use appropriate technologies, modern tools, equipment, and technologies specific to their jobs. So that was the problem. So on that particular area, the ICR, various universities, the technical educations, they are all involved. They sit together, and now they have come up with the fifth Dean Committee recommendation, and that particular recommendation is nowadays applicable in almost all dairy technology college, where their focus is on maximum hands-on training or practical exposure. And accordingly, even after second semester and the fourth semester, there is 1 month ready program is going on in every institute. In addition to that, the last year that has been totally been dedicated for the hands-on training and in-plant training. This will suffice the need of the industry, where whatever the problems they are having, as the students are getting a maximum practical knowledge in the field of dairy technology, it helps the dairy industry, the technical education system, and all those things. So a combined effort by the industry, academicians, and the government to address this skill problem of the sector is the need of hour, and that particular problem is being taken care of by the universities, ICR, and the various education imparting institutions. So this is all about my brief idea about this dairy sector. I know that other speakers like Mr. Praful Bhatt, Ravi Tanwar, Priyavrat Gautam, Neelam Chauhan, and Rahul Wakde are there. They will be deliberating on the various aspects about this career opportunities. So I once again thanks the organizers, the Alumni Association of CDT Udgir, for giving me chance to interact or sharing my views with you people. Thanks one and all. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you very much, sir. Your thoughts-provoking ideas address set an perfect example for all of us. Thank you once again. The alumni is widespread across the globe. Without taking much time, let's get benefited by our experienced GLES alumni speaker. Today's subject is split into 5 parts. Mr. Praful Bhatt will introduce about Indian dairy market and its job opportunities. Mr. Ravi Tanwar will discuss about international dairy market and its job opportunities. Mr. Priyavrat Gautam will inform us about doing PG after UG. Ms. Neelam Chauhan will give information about doing MBA options after UG. Mr. Rahul Wakde will guide us about banking and civil services after UG. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one reminder. After session, if any participants have queries or doubts during the presentation, the feedback link is shared at the end of the sessions, and our speakers will revert you soon. Now, without further ado, we will turn towards our today's speaker. As speaker who talk about what life has taught them, never fails to keep them attention of their listeners. We are extremely thrilled to have with us our first speaker of today's webinar, who is BTech Dairy Technologies, MBA in HR and Admin, and Executive Officer in Sumul Dairy, Surat, having an experience of 7 years in milk product. He is an extraordinary personality, a noble man with a character of great heights, and originator of multifarious notions. I welcome Mr. Praful Bhatt and its job opportunities.
Thank you, Anushri. Namaskar. Good morning, friends. This is Praful Bhatt, working as an executive officer in Ice Cream Production Department at Sumul Dairy, Surat, Gujarat State. As we know, today we have gathered for the sake of webinar on topic career opportunities in dairy sector after graduation and the post-graduation, organized by College of Dairy Technology Alumni Association Udgir. Before starting my topic, I would like to thank patron of Alumni Association, Dr. Madhav Patil sir, President of Alumni Association, Mr. Raman Kakre sir, and Secretary of Alumni Association, Mr. Ketan Shetty sir, for giving me this opportunity as a speaker for this topic on your desk. Even I would like to express deep gratitude towards all the viewers, to those who have managed time in their busy schedule for watching this. Now coming to the topic, that is career opportunities in dairy sector after graduation and post-graduation. As we know, we live in a country where every person starts his morning with doodhwala or tea. So a dairy sector has a dynamic role in India's agro-based economy. As well as India has the largest number of cattle in the world, due to which it makes India a global market leader in milk industry and other industries. Coming to the topic, firstly, I will tell you the different opportunities that you can grab. Secondly, I will tell you the different positions that you can have in the industry. Thirdly, I will speak about the different salary package given in the industry. And fourth, I will describe about how to apply the jobs, where to search the jobs, and at last, I will give some list of well-known companies for the job in the Indian markets. So let's start with the first part, career opportunities. As a dairy technologist, we have the first big most opportunity to work in the dairy sector. The company and the or industry which deals with the procurement, processing, manufacturing, or the marketing of milk, butter, ghee, cheese, paneer, dahi, yogurt, milk powder, including all traditional Indian dairy products. Also the sweet items comes under this sector. The second big most opportunity that we can grab, that is to work with the food sector. The company or the industry which deals with the manufacturing and the marketing of bread, biscuits, toast, rusk, all the bakery items, including cakes, as well as the production houses units of moong dals, namkeens, wafers, tomato ketchup, sauces comes under this sector. The third big most opportunity that we can grab is to work with the beverage industry. The company or the industry which deals with the manufacturing and the marketing of the soft drinks or the non-alcoholic drinks, which you called it as cold drinks or different types of juices, comes under beverage industry. Most of the students knows the opportunities of the dairy, food, and the beverage industry sector, as they are well aware about the terminologies and the processes carried out in this sector. But apart from these, we have the opportunity to work with the equipment industry. The industry, the company which deals with the manufacturing and the marketing of the equipments which are required at the food, dairy, and the beverage industry level. I can say the Tetra Pak, Gia, the company like IDMC are the best examples, comes under the equipment industry. The fifth big most opportunity that you can grab, that is to work with the ingredient industry. Which deals with the raw materials or the ingredients which are necessary in the dairy, food, and the beverage industry, comes under the ingredient industry. For example, if you are manufacturing an ice cream, then the stabilizer, emulsifier, and the different types of flavors comes under the ingredient industry. The sixth big most opportunity that you can grab to work with the chemical industry. Different types of chemicals are used for the CIP purposes in the dairy, food, and the beverage industry plant operation level. Even some different types of chemicals are required at quality assurance labs also. So the company or the industry which deals with the apart from these, one can have the career in academics or education by joining as an assistant professor after completion of the post-graduation. This career opportunity will be explained in detail by my colleague. one can join as a banker or as a banking professional by giving the different level of entrance exams or IBPS, or also one can join as administration, as administrative officer by giving the state level competitive exams or UPSC in different Hello, sorry. We have finished with the chemical industry. One can also have the opportunity to work in the academics by joining as an assistant professor after completion of the post graduation. This point will be covered in detail by my colleague. Apart from this, one can groom his career as a banking professor or as a banker by giving the different level of entrance examination or IBPS. Even the one can join as in administrative departments by giving the state level competitive exams or the UPS. Apart from these, one can start his small projects or small manufacturing units of different dairy products like dahi, yogurt, chas, paneer, ghee at local level, which comes under the entrepreneurship. Even one can start his own consultancy after having the experience of 7 to 8 years. He can start and become a consultant. So it was about the first part. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to tell you about the different positions that you can get in the dairy industry. See, after completion of your BTech and MTech at initial level, as a fresher, you will be absorbed as a trainee or junior executive, executive officer or technical officer in dairy, food and the beverage industry. If you look for the equipment industry, you will be absorbed as a project engineer or the process engineer. अगर हम लोग यही ingredient and the chemical industry की बात करें, then you can be absorbed as an application technologist, analyst. The students, those who have completed their post graduation can be absorbed as a junior scientist at central level bodies like NGDB, NDRI, or DRDO. So these positions was for the freshers at initial stage. After having the experience. Associate analyst or senior project engineer. Again, having the experience of 10 to 12 years, you can be absorbed as an assistant manager, plant in charge, application specialist, senior scientist, assistant analyst, team leader in the respective industries. Now, after having the experience of 18 to 20 years, you get the managerial cadre like executive director, deputy manager, manager, department head, regional head. And at last, after having the experience of 22 to 25 years, the topmost bigger positions you can get like chief executive officer, director, general manager, and the managing director. So it was about the different positions. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to tell you about Now I'm going to talk on the salary packages given by the industries. See, this is the average tentative salaries based upon survey carried out of 100 students, those who are working in different sectors. Okay. If we talk about the dairy, food, and the beverage sector, you can see the green line. On the basis of graduation, you can get the start of 25,000 per month. I'm talking about this India. Okay. After completion of the post graduation, you can get the starting salary of, you can say, 35,000 per month. If we talk about the equipment industry, the starting salary on the basis of graduation starts with the 30,000 per month. And if we talk about the equipment industry, for the students, those who have completed the post graduation, then he can get the starting salary of 45,000 per month. If we talk about the ingredient and the chemical industry, the starting salary for the graduation student is up to the 30,000 per month, as well as for the post graduation student, it is up to the. Now, suppose if you are doing a career in education, academics, joining as a professor, then this option is open for only the post-graduated students. The pay scale is as per the state government. If we talk about the banking and the civil services, then the starting salary will be the 45,000 according to the state pay scale. So it was about the salary level at the different sectors. Now we will move to the next slide, taking how to apply for the jobs, where to search for the jobs. B.Tech या M.Tech तो कर ली है, लेकिन job का ढूंढोगे. Very important. See, after completion of your B.Tech or while learning last semester of your B.Tech, you need to upload your resume or CV in various job portals like Naukri.com, Indeed, Monster, Fight.com, LinkedIn. And not only uploading a resume is your duty, but you need to keep updating your resume every day so that recruiters can highlight your resume at topmost priority. The second way of searching job is the career portal of respective company. See, many MNCs search talent and hire employees by giving the positions on their website. So you need to go to the particular website of that company. You have to open the career portal option. Then you have to upload your resume over there. And finally, you can apply for the job. The third way for searching job is through the advertisement or the social media. See, many companies in dairy sector are restricted with the law. So they publish, means they recruit their manpower through their advertisement, through newspapers, local newspapers or district newspapers. So it becomes very important that you need to keep in touch with such a people or such a WhatsApp group or social platform that newspaper advertisement should reach and should update you every day so that you can apply through that. The fourth option is the direct approach to the company or the HR. If you take my personal opinion, then it is the best option to send your resume or the CV to the directly HR head or to give the hard copy by courier or by speed post. It was about the jobs, how to apply. We will move to the next slide. Next slide, please. See, here are the well-known companies to work within the Indian market. We can see the companies like Amul, Mother, Patanjali, Heritage comes under dairy industry, as well as the Unilever, ITC, Nestle comes under the food industry. PepsiCo comes under the beverage industry. The companies just given examples before, the companies like Tetra Pak, GIA, IGMC, SPX Flow also comes under the equipment industry. The company like Jivadhan and IFF comes under the ingredient industry. See, Johnson Diversey and the Reda Chemicals comes under the chemical industry. One point just want to tell about the chemical industry. Nowadays, a lot of innovations and the experiments are carried out to reduce the cost of chemicals. So it's a big opportunity to work with the ingredient, chemical, and the equipment industry as well. So it was about my part, about that is the career opportunities. Thanking you. Jai Hind. Anushree, continue please.
Thank you, Mr. Praful Bhatt, sir, for your dynamic presentation and enlightening your valuable information regarding Indian dairy market and its job opportunities. Now, I would like to invite our second speaker, Mr. Ravi Tanwar, who is B.Tech Dairy Technologies and gold medalist, MSc in Food Engineering from École Supérieure d'Agriculture, France, Junior Production Manager, Lactalis Nestlé, Ultra Fresh, Lisieux, France, to put some light on international dairy markets and its job opportunities. Please, Mr. Ravi.
Thank you, Nishri. Good morning, one and all. And thanks to the organizers to consider me the person fit for purpose. First of all, I would like to say that it really takes a courage to move out of a comfortable zone. Some people do have that courage, but they don't know, but they don't have the motivation. Some do have the motivation, but they don't know where to go through and where to look for. As it was previously explained by our previous speaker, Mr. Praful, where to search for the jobs. So let's just give some light over these things once again. So here are some of the tools over which you can look over for jobs like job portals. You might be familiar with the LinkedIn, Monster, Indeed, and Glassdoor. They provide a user-friendly interface. You can see over the job post, you can you can submit your CVs, your updated CVs to the companies, and within a period of time, you can be getting a response from them. Second option is your consultancy. Like there are websites called Edge Executive. You can visit their websites, see their job vacancies, posts as you are interested in which you are interested. Further, you can write to them your mails and demand them for their brochures or some kind of formats if it can help you in, and it is freely available at internet. Third option is the direct application. If you can directly apply to the companies by visiting their website, and you will be always seeing some tabs like opportunities and join with us or career tabs over here. So you can always go apply for them, submit your CVs, and you will be getting a response within a period of time. Fourth one is the training programs. It's like some of the companies are hiring an institute to recruit to recruit employees for them. So this is something that I will be like to talk in more details because I am pursuing one of them now. Fifth one is the placements and references. Well, if your college has international placements, indeed it's a very good thing, but in short of that, it's always your guides, your teachers, your seniors, your friends that can always help you to serve as a reference to move across national borders. Now, as I talked previously that I will be like to talk about some training programs. So here are some of the programs given by some companies. Like Arla is offering training programs in DT and DE in Rees Health College, Cheshire. Some of the period you will be at college, and some of the period and rest of the period you will be staying in a factory. Be assured that your tuition fees, your travel expenses, your health, everything will be covered by the company. Further, I just want to give you some insight about the salary that in continuation with the program, you will be offered approximately £16,000 per year, which is roughly equal to 15 lakh, approximately 33 lakh rupees. So similarly, Fonterra is also offering programs like DT and DE. They're also offering 6 week research project to work in research and development. Then again, 2 year master in dairy science and technology, and you will be allowed to work in one of their branch in New Zealand. The third one is Group Lactalis is also offering it has also hired a college in France, which is called École Supérieure d'Agriculture, which I have been admitted to. And I would like to talk more details over this because of its superiority, because of its advantage over just education or just job in a foreign country. So it also will keep you motivated to join these kinds of programs. Further, these are some of the programs that ESA, like you all can apply in technology, in food identity, MSc in food identity. Further, it's MSc IAB, which is more or less related to your accounts and marketing. Then the program to which I have been admitted to is the E2FA program, E2FA program, and it is offered by Group Lactalis by ESA. So about this program, they are offering a 2 year Master of Science in Engineering, which is completely taught in French. It's a 5 year based contractual program in which 2.5 years you will be staying in France studying at college, and rest of the time you will be at the factory practicing the skills that you have learned at the college. After that period, you will be returning back to your home country to work there for another 2.5 year, or as long as you wish to work with. Again, rest assured, your tuition fees and travel, health, everything will be covered. Just a salary inside, they are offering you around 14 lakh rupees per year. So next thing is like directly apply on the website of the ESA with your updated CVs, cover letters, statements of purpose, and all your academic documents. Further, the selection process will have two phases of interviews. First phase will be with a person from ESA will be in contact with you, and they will be generally asking questions related to academics. The second phase will be like a person from Lactalis France or Lactalis India or both will be interviewing you, and they are generally asking you some case study based questions. After the acceptance, you will be offered a acceptance letter. Further, you are good to go for your visa process and flight tickets. So after the admission, what is the role of ESA and what is the role of Lactalis in that program? So the role of ESA is to provide you 5 month intense French classes at the beginning, because as I said that the courses are completely taught in French, so you must know the language. The second, but they have one acceptance criteria. To admit into the program, you must got B1 level in French, and to receive a master degree at the end, you must get C1 level in both English and French. After that, you will be going for 3 weeks at a dairy farm where you will be doing some hands-on training with machine milkings. Additional salary may be given at this point. Then after that, as companies handling a large amount of data, so obviously they will be giving you some statistical and database courses. Apart from that, they are offering you some technical courses and professional courses. Technical courses are more or less similar to your academic courses that you learn in your BTech. Further, your professional courses are generally like enterprise resource plannings, project management tools, and decision making factors, which can help you to work in a factory. So the role of Lactalis here, as I said, that it's Lactalis France that it will be covering all your tuition fees and your accommodation, your travel things. Second, they will be providing you number of projects, number of missions so that you can learn management. They will be allotting you a guide at the factory so that you can always go to him if you have to practice something, if you have any problem related to a project that is coming, he can always be there to help you. Apart from them, it's the college that also provides some of the missions to you to be performed at the factory, and they are all practical based missions. And you will be submitting some reports, and that is their evaluation criteria. Then Lactalis India is always coordinating with the Lactalis headquarter at Laval to specialize your domain after your arrival into your home country after your this training program in France. Like you will be whether you will be working in a production, quality, logistics, or marketing. Further, there is a block placement for you in your home country. You know just from the beginning of your program that you are going to work in that company for that much period of time with that much amount of salary. Second thing, as you are allotted a guide at college, guide at factory, one guide at headquarter, and one person you will always be contact with the Lactalis India. So it helps you to coordinate with them easily all the activities of the college and the company together, whether it's in France or whether it's in India. Now at the end, I would like to say that why a person should choose for this training program, what are the advantages of these training programs, or why I choose choose this program. First of all, obviously you are getting a master degree from a reputed college of a foreign country. Along with, you are getting paid that with a good amount of salary. Third, you have a job security. You know right from the beginning that you have a job and you are definitely to work over there. Apart from that, these are number of others factors like contacts at global level. When you move out of your home country, you interact with number of peoples, you exchange with them, you exchange with managers, their directors. So it helps you to develop contacts. So in future, if you wish to move further outside, they can be useful. They can also be useful if you want to start some startups. The second one is your communication skills are improved. For example, as I said, we exchange with a lot of people here. In my program personally, we are Brazilians, Canadians, Africans, Indians, and many more. So everyone has different level of perception, different level of understanding. So we exchange with them further. They have we have over here like courses over the negotiations to learn some strategies and tools how to negotiate, and that is necessary at the factory to negotiate to satisfy your vendors and your clients. So you are obviously getting that skills too. Then team building skills, you are having your team building spirits, as companies run by a number of people but not just by one person. So obviously you will be, and there and here you will be engaged in number of projects which requires in a team to be worked. And so you actually learn to lead that team, and you actually learn that leadership quality rather than just writing on your CVs. Fourth thing is your practical approach to innovate. Like as I said, there are a number of projects at the factory you are engaged to. Like personally for me, I have been engaged to optimization of packaging material, then optimization of density of soft cheese, then avoiding microbial contamination in the plant. So it has led me to along with my to consider with my guide some of the plan of action, some of the methodologies like Ishikawa and Six Sigma that I have just read theoretically, but I actually applied here. So that was good for me. I was able to think something out of the box and recommend something new that can be changed or used to improve the process. Then further, obviously you work at good position with good amount of salary, and who doesn't want it? Apart from that, you have a chance to visit a foreign country, the culture. But all these things come with the one thing that that is the challenges are all over, whether it's national or international level. But at international level they become much more significant. The most difficult challenge for me was the cultural adaptation, because culture is just not a thing like tradition. It's something more or less related to the mindset of a people. And mindset is generally made of their values or their beliefs, which comes from their history or the history of their country. So when two different mindsets they came together, it's generally not easy going. But yeah, every challenge can be overcome with your can do type of attitude. So next we see that here are some of the dairy companies at international market. You might be familiar with most of them. So you can always visit their websites and search for the over their portals that if there is some kind of training programs like this, and you can apply, or else or else you or else if you are just interested in jobs, you can also search over there for jobs and apply for your CVs. So yes, I would, and then I would like to say that international job working with international platform is not that far away from you. You just need to have put some efforts, go to the website, search, and it will be all yours. So, and thank you all for your patience, and I rest the mic to Miss Nusri.
Thank you, Mr. Ravi Tanwar, for focusing and giving energetic ideas. Now, I would like to welcome a statue of knowledge and experience, Dr. Priyabrat Gautam, our third speaker, who is BTech Dairy Technologist and a gold medalist, MTech in Dairy Chemistry, PhD Dairy Scholar in Dairy Chemistry. After he have many more achievements, after PhD, he has authored and co-authored one textbook, 3 book chapters, 4 research articles, 6 popular articles. He was also awarded the best thesis for his PG in the year 2019. Also, he worked as Deputy General Manager in Punjab Cooperative Varka for 2 years. He has been always also awarded for his prosper presentation as a co-author in Priyabrat for doing PG after UG.
Thank you, Anushri. Thanks, Anushri. Thanks for the brief introduction. I welcome all the participants. I literally, I want to thank the team of CDTU, the Alumni Association, for selecting me as a speaker on this topic on post-graduation options in India. So students, what I'll do, first of all, I'll tell you
Gautam sir, unmute.
Due to the technical issues,
Sir, your mic is mute. Your mic is muted.
it requires. Yes, Gautam, please
am I
continue.
audible?
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah, coming on to the PDCA concept, it is the planning. Planning is very much important for students. अगर आपको plan नहीं करेंगे, if you don't have the correct planning, you will end up nowhere in your life. So planning is important. First of all, you plan that in which stream you have to do your master's degree. The slide shows a number of courses and a number of universities which provide post-graduation options in India. Like ICR New Delhi provides courses in dairy chemistry, dairy microbiology, DT, CFTRI Mysore in food technology, IIT Kharagpur in food engineering, Jadavpur University in food technology and biochemical engineering. All these universities in India, they provide fully furnished courses in PG course. Also, the link which is given below, this link shares the 29 other universities which I have not mentioned in this slide, which provide PG options, PG degree in India in food technology, food science and technology, and food nutrition. Next slide, please. So the second concept, the second part of the PDCA concept is check. Once you have made the plan, you have to check that when the admission are to be started, you can prepare for it. You can go for online courses. A number of pages are available on Facebook, जो कि test, you can join the online seminars. You can also join the online courses, online seminars, the e-course. Go for all such kind of things. Check, आप check कर सकते हैं. You have entrance exam conducted for such courses, PG, April to June. Hello. The exams take place in May to June, in the month of May to June. So you can check, you can apply for the exams and you can check your performance. And you can start appearing in the exams from second year only, because from second year and appearing in third year and up to when you are in the fourth year, you will come to know that what is your status, what is the level of questions that come in the exam, how you should prepare. So this is check. And lastly, in the act, when you get the results, when you get your performance based rankings, when you appear for the exams on, इसी के हिसाब से आप अपना आगे चेक कर सकते हैं. आप अपने आप, you can prepare. So I want to say that if you follow this PDCA concept in your life, I am sure that our students, our young generation, कभी भी किसी भी वक्त पे they will not fail and they will literally they will achieve higher success. Now coming on to the PhD options in India. The PhD options after the UG, after the PG has been completed, some students opt for joining the dairy industry. Some कुछ का मन बनता है कि मुझे थोड़ा और आगे higher study करनी चाहिए. I have to go for research and all. So in dairy field, NDRA is the best. Other universities like BHU, Anand Agriculture University, and ICR has a number of affiliated universities. Apart from NDRI, for admission in all these universities, you have to go through the SRF exam, which is conducted by ICR, while NDRI has conducts itself independent exam. Similarly, for getting admission in NIFTEM, you have to go through GATE or exam which is conducted by NIFTEM only. For CFTRI Mysore, CFTRI Mysore gives PhD degree in food science, food technology, food science and nutrition. CFTRI Mysore conducts an exam, as I have told, May, June. You can appear in it and can seek admission in it. The link which is given here, that along the 25 more colleges, universities offer the doctoral program, you can copy this link and paste it, and you can see the other 25 colleges or universities that offer the doctoral program. Next slide, please.
Gautam, on your video.
Next slide, please. The admission program in Indian universities. Coming on to the PG PhD programs in foreign universities, there are four, five ways, nicely explained by Mr. Ravi Tanwar. I'll just tell you about a glimpse. You should have some prerequisites, like you should have your statement of purpose, your CV, updated CV, all these things you should have well in place. First of all, MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, it offers various fellowship programs for higher studies in foreign industries. You can visit the site of MHRD and you can see which fellowship, which program suits you best. Second, you can go for exams like GRE, TOEFL, IELTS. By cracking these, by getting their appropriate score, you can apply for foreign universities for doing your higher education. Third, the Indian government runs special sponsorship programs with foreign countries, which is a joint program. Like one joint program is run by University of Queensland in Australia and IIT Delhi. You can go through that
On your video.
Every year, 1 or 2 students from Australia and 1 or 2 students from India are sent there to pursue their research work, their PhD degree. The last is applying through study visa, or you can select the university. You can again plan that in which area you have to do your PhD work or PG work. You can select the university, your course of interest, then the scientist or the professor who is working in that area, through proper channel. The proper channel means by approaching your mentor, by approaching your associate dean, your college. This is for the UG students, and for PG students, they can approach their guide, their head of the department, so that, because reference plays a very important role. Reference, apart from the professors and scientists, any of your friend or any of your senior who has been pursuing degree in a foreign university, they can also act as a reference for you. Like Ravi Tanwar is pursuing degree in France, he can be as your reference, like that.
Gautam,
Next
concentrate
slide.
on your video. Your video, you are not able to see.
Next slide. Yes, the university to be chosen is very much important, because do you have planning? Do you have planning? Do you have all the ideas in which sector you have to do, in which stream you have to do? But if the university chosen by you is not appropriate, then you will end up nowhere. In India, for dairies, NDRI is the best. IIT, CFTI, NIFTEM, IIP, Pondicherry University is also good. Anand Agricultural University is also good. They, my perception and others' perception, if you'll do your degree from these universities, your career will be very much New Zealand, University of Queensland, Australia, Cornell University, USA, Kansas State University, USA, South Dakota University. These universities also provide the UG, the PG and PhD programs in the field of dairy and food sector. Now students coming onto the scholarships provided. The scholarship, because in dairy sector, I have seen that middle, or generally all the students are from middle class. So after getting our undergraduate degree, all our choice is that we should first of all support our family. So if anybody wants to do higher studies, the scholarships provided are very much sufficient. Like the slide is here for the scholarships. The scholarship is provided by ICR, UGCNet, ICMR, JRF, SRF, and they provide a handsome amount of money. Like for UGC, ICMR, they provide 31,000, 35,000 for PG programs, and for JRF, 12,400 that you get for pursuing your PG and PG programs. So at last, I would like to conclude that if you follow all these things, these are very much simple ways to proceed your PhD, your higher studies. The path is very much easy. It is very much simple. If you make a proper planning, you will
Just there is one important announcement. Please, all the participants who are participating in the webinar, mute their video and audio as there is interruption to the speakers. And those who have questions regarding the slides or presentation, they will have been shown at the end of this session feedback form, and our speakers will revert you soon. With equal pleasure, I would honor to introduce our fourth speaker of this webinar, Ms. Neela Chauhan, who is BTech Dairy Technology, MBA in Agribusiness Management, and gold medalist, Executive Marketing at Nath Seeds, Biogenes, Aurangabad. Will having an experience of 4 years, will discuss about doing MBA after UG. Please, Neelam, continue.
Thank you, Anushri, for introducing me in such a nice way. First of all, I would like to thank College of Dairy Technology, Udgir, CDTU Alumni Association, and all my respected professors for considering me for this opportunity. Here, I would like to share about the information about what to do, how to get admission, and what are the MBA process, what to do after post-graduation processes. As we always confused about what to do after BTech. That does not mean that we are not aware about the opportunities out there, but there is only a lack of information and lack of knowledge. So let's focus, as we already heard from so many speakers, that there are so many options to do after BTech. Let's focus on the management courses, that is MBA and PGDM courses. The most relevant courses we can go after BTech for managements are food and agribusiness management, operation and project management, finance, international businesses, leadership engagement and people performance, business analytics, marketing management, organizational behavior, HR management, ethics and legal management, supply chain, artificial intelligence, enterprise and risk management. Apart from all these courses, The most relevant course to do after BTech is Food and Agribusiness Management, and the universities provide these courses in India are IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Lucknow, IRMA Anand, Manage Hyderabad, Vamnicom Pune, and then Banaras Hindu University. Next, please. Next, please. Now let's see the top 10 management courses. Top 10 management courses of India, their course fee structure and the average salary pass out students get there. If we see the list of all IIM colleges, the average course fee is ranges between 9 to 25 lakhs, and the average salary students get there is ranges from the 18 to 25 lakhs per year. Then the Xavier School of Management, the average course fee is approximately between 23 to 24 lakhs, and the average salary students get there is near about 21 lakhs to 24 lakhs. Then the Department of Management Studies, Delhi College, the average course fee is approximately 8 to 9 lakhs, and the average salary students get there after pass out is 15 lakhs per year. Then the Management Development Institute, Gurgaon, the average course fee is approximately between 18 to 19 lakhs, and the average salary students get there is ranges between 19 to 20 lakhs. But India. But apart from these colleges, there are also so many colleges in India who provide the same or related courses with minimum fees and with very good handsome packages. And we have already seen the list of that colleges, that is IIM Ahmedabad, Pune University College, that is Pumba College, then Vamnicom, then IRMA Anand College, Manage Hyderabad College, and so on. Next, please. This is the average figure we have taken from the last few batches sources. Now let's see what is the course selection process. The seats will be offered, followed by the various counseling round. As per the rank of the candidate, they will call for the counseling. After written exam, they have to pass the personal interview and group discussion round. For participating in counseling, candidates have to register on the concerned entrance exam website. At the time of counseling, candidates have to fill the college and course preference. At the final, admission will be offered on your field choices, group discussion and personal interview marks, and your overall performance in the interviews. Then the candidate can reach the allotted college after seat will be finalized, and can take the admission. But this is the standard procedure to take the admission for all the management courses. But in India, there are also various autonomous colleges where we can directly send our mark sheet. If there is a seat available, college contacts us and we can take the admission in that college. Next, please. As we have already seen that what are the various courses, what are the top 10 colleges, and what is the selection procedure. Now let's move toward what are the entrance exam to take the admission for PGDM or MBA. The most common exam we all know is CAT, Common Admission Test. The registration process for this examination is started in the month of July to August, and the date will be exam will be held in the month of November. The score of this college is accepted by most of the IIMs, then FMS Delhi, SP Jan Mehta College, MDI, IITs, IMI and IMT, and all the colleges of India. Then the Xavier Aptitude Test, that is that. The registration process for this examination is also started in the month of July to August. And the score of this examination is accepted by XLRI, SP Jan College, XIMB, IMT, PAPMI, and all relevant colleges. Then the NMAT exam conducted by GMSC. The registration process is already started in the month of August, and the score of this examination is considered by the NIMS and most relevant colleges of India. Then the SNAP exam, that is conducted by the Symbiosis International University. The registration process is started in the month of July to August or in the month of November, and the exam is held in the month of December. And score of this examination is accepted by all the Symbiosis Universities colleges. Then the CMAT exam, the registration for this examination is started in the month of November, and the exam is held in the month of January. most of the colleges accepted this course. Then the MAT examination, the exam is held in the month of September, and the most of the colleges accept this course score of this examination. Then the Atma exam, that is AIMS management test, this exam held 4 times in a year, that is held in the month of May, June, July and August. And you can take the admission for and the score of this examination is accepted by Wellinger College, CIMR, SOIL, IMS and all related college you can contact. Then the GMAT examination. The GMAT examination, the score of this examination is also accepted for the MS outside the India, MS courses outside the India and MBA courses inside the India. The examination is held whole the year and you can fill form whole the year as per your choices, as per your preparation and as per your schedule. The score of this examination is accepted by all the colleges of India, and you can also contact the you can also use this score sheet for the taking MS admission in outside the India. These are all the national level exams. Then let's move toward the state level exams. Next, please. There are also state level exams where we can take the admission for the state level MBA colleges or management colleges. That is for Maharashtra, there is a CET. The date of exam, exam is conducted in the month of March, and all the Maharashtra management college accept this score of the exam. Then the Karnataka CET exam, the date exam will be held in the month of July, and all Karnataka states colleges accept this score of the exam. Then the Tamil Nadu state CET, the exam is conducted in the month of February and the score is accepted by all the Tamil Nadu state colleges. Then the Telangana state CET, the exam is held in the month of May and the score of this examination is considered by all the Telangana state university colleges. Then the KMAT exam, this is also Karnataka state MAT exam, management exam, entrance exam.
Neelam, you are unmute. Please mute it. You are unmute. Please mute it. Till now you are unmute.
Let's move toward the state level MBA entrance exam. For Maharashtra state, we have a CET. This exam is held in the month of March and the score of this examination is accepted by all Maharashtra state colleges. Then the Karnataka state CET, the exam is held in the month of July and score of this examination is accepted by all the Karnataka state colleges. Then the Tamil Nadu state CET, the score of exam is held in the month of February and score of this examination is accepted by all the Tamil Nadu state colleges. Then the Telangana state CET, the score of this examination is also considered by all the universities of Telangana state. This is very good exam for Telangana student. Then the KMAT examination, this exam is held in the month of July, but the score of this exam is considered by very few colleges of Karnataka. Let's move towards. हमने अब तक ये देखा कि एग्जाम कौन से एग्जाम हमें देनी है, कौन से हमें स्कोर सिलेक्ट करने हैं और कौन से कॉलेजेस सिलेक्ट करने हैं, उसमें से भी सिलेक्टेड कॉलेज हमें कहाँ एडमिशन लेनी है. बट द मेन फोकस इज व्हाट इज द एग्जाम पैटर्न. This is the common examination pattern for CAT exam. The CAT exam carries the 100 question. Each question carries 300 marks. Okay, the 100 question are further divided in 3 vertical. That is in second is data interpretation and logical reasoning, and fourth is quantitative ability. हर एक वर्टिकल को अलग अलग क्वेश्चन अलॉट किए रहते हैं, उनके अलग अलग उनका टाइम भी अलग रहता है. मतलब वर्बल एबिलिटी और रीडिंग कॉम्प्रेhension के लिए 34 मार्क्स 34 क्वेश्चन रहते हैं, तो 34 क्वेश्चन के लिए 1 आवर का टाइम है. जैसे डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन के लिए 32 क्वेश्चन है, तो इसके लिए भी 1 आवर का टाइम है. 3 आवर्स की एग्जाम रहती है, 3 घंटे की. इस प्रकार ये कैट का एग्जामिनेशन फॉर्मेट है. इसी प्रकार हर एक एग्जाम मतलब एंट्रेंस जो भी हमें देना है एमबीए के लिए, हर एक एग्जाम का पैटर्न यही है, उसमें थोड़े सब्जेक्ट थोड़े चेंज हो जाते हैं। इसके लिए प्रिपरेशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। आपको अगर MBA में एडमिशन लेना है, किसी भी पीजी कॉलेज, मैनेजमेंट कॉलेज में एडमिशन लेना है, तो कैट एग्जाम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इसके बाद बाकी जो एग्जाम्स है वो हमने डिस्कस किए प्रीवियस स्लाइड्स में, वो सभी एग्जाम्स है, पर अकॉर्डिंग टू योर चॉइसेस यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट विच एग्जाम यू हैव टू गिव, क्योंकि हम हर एक एग्जाम की स्टडी हम नहीं कर सकते और हर एक एग्जाम हम दे भी नहीं सकते, क्योंकि इनकी रजिस्ट्रेशन फीस ही 2000 नियर अबाउट 2000 टू 2200 के रेंज में रहती है। तो हर एक एग्जाम के फॉर्म फिल करना नॉट पॉसिबल। तो पहले ही हमें डिसाइड करना चाहिए, मतलब थर्ड ईयर से या सेकेंड ईयर से ही आप प्रिपरेशन कर दीजिए कि आपको MBA करना है तो कौन से फील्ड में करना है, कौन से कॉलेज में करना है, कौन से स्टेट में करना है। अगर आपने कोई स्टेट डिसाइड किया है तो स्टेट लेवल्स के आप एग्जाम के लिए प्रिपरेशन कीजिए। अगर कॉलेजेस डिसाइड किए तो कॉलेजेस के भी स्पेशल एग्जाम्स रहते हैं, उसको आप कंसर्न कर सकती है। और बस इन सब बातों में एक हमें ध्यान रखना है कि कोई भी एग्जाम की डेट मिस ना हो जाए, क्योंकि नेक्स्ट ईयर की अगर हमें एडमिशन लेनी है, नेक्स्ट ईयर के लिए हमें अगर एडमिशन लेनी है तो उसके एग्जाम्स के डेट प्रीवियस ईयर में ही जनवरी से शुरू हो जाता है। मतलब सपोज हमें कोई एग्जाम के लिए अगले साल के लिए एडमिशन लेनी है 2021 के बैच के लिए, तो उसके लिए हमें 20 एंड से ही, मतलब 2020 से ही हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि कौन से एग्जाम्स आए हैं और कौन से एग्जाम हम दे सकते हैं। Then I hope this information may gives you the rough idea about what are the MBA, what is the selection process for MBA and what are the exams. So let's prepare everyone and grab your seat in best colleges of India, because there are n number of companies who are waiting and welcoming for the most enthusiastic and the talented candidate. क्योंकि MBA करने के बाद हमें सिर्फ डेयरी से ही रिलेटेड फील्ड में जॉब मिलेगा ऐसा नहीं, कर सकते हैं बहुत अच्छे पैकेज के साथ। थैंक यू।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद नीलम, हम लोगों को स्टेट और नेशनल लेवल एंट्रेंस एग्जाम ऑफ MBA के बारे में बताने के लिए। Our last but certainly not least, fifth speaker of the day, Mr. Rahul Wakle, Dairy Technologist, MBA in Marketing Operation Management, Marketing Officer, DMI University, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, will discuss on banking and civil services, which are mostly preferred in this era by the students after UG. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, Anushree. If I'm audible, please you just tell me that I'm audible or not. You just unmute your voice. Okay, I'm audible now. Okay, so thank you very much, Alumni Association, for giving me this opportunity to speak on the subject that is of banking sector options after graduation and civil sector options after graduation. So yes, I'll just give my brief introduction. So I am a marketing officer in Directorate of Marketing and Inspection in Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India. I was deputed in Delhi before this. After that, I was got transferred to Hyderabad. Now my current location is Hyderabad. So, hello. Okay. So let's start about banking sector's options after graduation. So there are 3 entry-level options in banking sectors. So I'll just enlist out. First option is special. Third is clerk or assistant. So first is specialist officer, that is you can opt for specialist officer that are agricultural field officer, IT officer, law officer. So these are the options.
Sir, please mute you are unmuted. Please mute it. Rahul sir, please.
Okay, I'm so sorry, there's a technical glitch. So okay, let us just start with this specialist officer. So specialist officer क्या होता है कि अगर आप बीटेक डेयरी टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट है या फिर बीटेक फूड टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट है या फिर BSc एग्री है So you can opt for that specialist officer post. So these exams are conducted by IBPS. So Institute of Banking Personnel ये कंडक्ट करते हैं एग्जाम्स उसके लिए. So for that तो फॉर्म्स अवेलेबल होते हैं. आपने अगर फॉर्म भरा है उसके लिए अगर क्रैक होते हैं एग्जाम्स तो आप ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एज अ स्पेशलिस्ट ऑफिसर सिलेक्ट होते हैं एज अ specialist officer in any public sector bank. Second is probationary officer. Those are probationary officers are the simple officers which do all the works in bank. And third is clerk and officer assistant. So these are the three entry level options which you can enter in the public sector banks or in government sector banks. So what about private sector banks? Private sector banks में आप कैसे enter करोगे? प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स में आप जैसे ही सीवी अपलोड करोगे उनके पोर्टल पे तो एचआर मैनेजर कॉल करेंगे आपको, फिर आप इंटरव्यू अरेंज होगा आपका. इंटरव्यू अरेंज होने के बाद अगर क्रैक करते हो तो आप डायरेक्टली डेप्यूटी मैनेजर लेवल पे वहाँ पे अपॉइंट होते हो. अगर आप ग्रेजुएशन हो तो आप डेप्यूटी मैनेजर लेवल पे अपॉइंट होगे वहाँ पे. So talking about the second slide, can we just go on to the second slide please? Okay, so civil services option after graduation. सिविल सर्विसेज भी ऑप्शन अवेलेबल होता है अपने लिए. जैसे ग्रेजुएशन होते अगर whosoever candidate is feeling that I can crack the UPSC exams and go for all India services, so they can opt and they can go for that exams. So already we know that civil service exams, most of the people know that IAS and IPS, these two ranks only. What about the other ranks? Other ranks people don't know. There are three different criteria, three different levels in the civil services options. So first is all India services, that is Indian Administrative Services, that is known as IAS. Second is Indian Police Services, that is IPS. Second criteria is Central Services, that is Group A officers. So in that second criteria, I'll just enlist out what are those posts you can achieve through UPSC exams. So the post you can achieve in the second criteria for central services in Group A are Indian Forest Services, that is known as IFS, Indian Audit and Account Services, IAS and IAS. Third is Indian Civil Account Services, Indian Corporate Law Services, Indian Defense Accounts Services, Indian Defense Estate Services, Indian Information Services, that is IIS. So IIS basically those are the people who are being appointed in census department, which handles the big data for Indian administrators. Indian Ordnance Factory Services, Indian Portal Services, Indian P&T Accounts and Finance Services, Indian Railway Account Services, Indian Railway Personal Services, Indian Railway Traffic Services, Indian Revenue Services, that is C&CE, Indian Trade Services. So these are all covered in central services, that is belongs to Group A. Now the third part is Group B services. So Group B services covers are Armed Force Services, that is Armed Force Headquarters Civil Services, Andaman and Nicobar Island Civil Services, Delhi, Andaman and Pondicherry Civil Services, Pondicherry Police Services. So these are all options are available after civil services. If you crack the exams, you can opt for these services. Okay, obviously depending upon your marks, whatever the marks or the score you obtain in the civil services, so according to the ranking and the position, they will give you all these services options to enroll into. So moving on to the exam pattern of banking, can we just go on to the next slide, please? Okay, so moving on to the exam pattern for banking services. So as I have already earlier told that banking exams are conducted by IBPS, that is Institute of Banking Personnel Selections. So in this, there are three types of phases. The selection procedure is divided into different sections, which is preliminary, mains, common written exams, and interview round. So phase 1 is marks scored in the prelim exam will not be considered in the final score. And in phase 2, marks scored in the prelim are only taken into accounts to qualify the mains exam. Phase 3, candidates need to qualify phase 2 exam individually to be eligible for final work. The aggregate of 100 marks is used for the final merit list for each category. Candidates with high merit rank in each category are finally selected and you will be warmly welcomed at government banks. So these are the phases for the banking exams, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So moving to the next slide, that is exam pattern for civil services. Can we just move on to the next slide, please? Okay, thank you. So exam pattern for civil services are: first is prelim services, second comes mains, third is the interview. So in the prelim services, there are two types of paper, paper 1 and paper 2. So what happens in prelim services? Prelim exams, the main pattern includes two papers, which are of 2 hours duration and 200 marks for each. Both papers are multiple choice objective type questions only. There are as follows. So paper 1 consists of test candidates knowledge on current events, history of India and Indian national movement, India and world geography, Indian polity, panchayati raj systems,
No need, sir.
governance, economic and social development, environmental ecology, biodiversity, climate change and general science, arts and culture. So these are the topics which are covered in the first paper. So talking about the second paper, so second paper also called as CSAT or Civil Services Aptitude Test. The test that candidates skills in comprehension, interpersonal skills, communication, logical reasoning, analytical ability, decision making, problem solving, basic numeracy, data interpretation, English language, comprehension skills, and mental ability. It is qualifying in nature, and the marks obtained in this paper are not counted for merit. So let me make you guys this clear that it is the qualifying in nature only, and these marks are not counted for merit basis. However, it is mandatory for the candidates to score minimum of 33% in this paper to qualify the prelim exams. So after qualifying from prelims to mains, when the candidate goes for mains exam, the mains civil service exams consist of written examination and an interview. Civil services mains written examination consists of 9 papers, 2 qualifying and 7 ranking in nature. This range of questions may vary from just 1 marks to 60 marks, 20 words to 600 words answer. Each paper is of duration of 3 hours. Candidates who pass qualifying papers are ranked according to marks, and the selected numbers of candidates are
Sir, you are unmute, please.
after qualifying for mains exam. The candidate is called for interview at Delhi Dolpur House UPSC mains exam. So can we just move on to the third slide? Okay. So here scoring pattern of mains exam is categorized into paper, subjects and the marking schemes. So paper A consists of one of the Indian languages listed below to be selected by the candidates from the language listed in the forms for qualifying. The marks are as follows. Marks for the paper A is 300 marks. Paper B is English, it is qualifying. For that, the marks is 300. Paper 1 is essay, so marks are 250. Paper 2 is general studies, that covers the topic Indian heritage and culture, history and geography is 250. Paper 3 is general studies, that is The topics covered are governance, constitution, polity, social justice, and international relations. So the marks are 250. Paper 4 is general studies. So in that general studies, the subjects are covered as technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, and security and disaster management. And the marks are 250. So paper 5s are general studies, which covers the topic of ethics, integrity, and aptitude. So the marks are 250. So paper 6 and 7 is having two optional subjects. From that, two optional subjects the candidate can select for. Two papers are on one subject to be selected by the candidates from the list of optional subjects. And the marks are 500. So the list of optional subject, I'll just read out for you guys. So the optional subjects are agriculture, animal husbandry and veterinary science, anthropology, botany, chemistry, civil engineering, commerce and accountancy, economics, electrical engineering, geography, geology, history, law, literature, management, mathematics, mechanical engineering, medical science, philosophy, physics, political science and international relations, psychology, public administration, sociology, statistics, and zoology. So A to Z are optional subjects which are available for you to have the option subject for the mains examination. So now talking about the total subject-wise written test, it carries marks of 1750. And whosoever qualifies the mains exam called for interview, that is known as personal test or interview. And for the personal test or interview, the marks are 275. So total qualifying marks are 2025. According to that, if the candidate score marks, he will be qualifying the UPSC and he will be absorbing into the central services examinations. So I'll just make you guys clear here. There is a proverb in Hindi called as 4 साल मेहनत करोगे तो 40 साल ऐश करोगे. So you just keep in this mind that if you work hard for 4 years in your graduation, so you'll be ruling for 40 years in your life. So this is the proverb which I want to advise to you. Thank you very much, guys, for letting me to speak on the topic. So I will hand over. So again,
thank you, Mr. Rahul Wakde, for giving your valuable practical insights and your thoughts on various civil services and many more. There is one important announcement. Those participants who have any doubt about the presentations will have a given link on the chat box. Please fill the feedback form and your e-participation certificate will be there within the 6 hours after the end of session. Every program ends with vote of thanks. So I, on behalf of CDT AAU, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the Honorable Chief Guest, delegates, dignitaries who blessed us with their presence and took out valuable time of their busy schedule. Also, I would like to give for gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. I must mention my deepest sense of thanks to all the participants in today's Alumina. I also extend thanks to all the association members, committee members for their enormous cooperation in the organization of this gala event. Least but not least, thanks a lot to one and all directly and indirectly involved in the webinar. Lastly, as the current scenario is going of COVID-19 pandemic, so it's humble request to stay home and stay safe. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay.
If there is any Excuse me, ma'am. Is there is any question and answer round with the mentors?
No, sir.
Sir, it will be available from your feedback form, which the link is provided in the chat box. Please go through it.
And ma'am, the slides, the PPT you have shown there, either we have to get it or you have shared
Dear
with the
participant, yeah. So I will make that you will receive the all slides in a PDF form along with the webinar link. Your questions which you have in your mind, you can direct it through us via web feedback form. So if you go to the feedback form in the last portion, we have provided space to put your questions, and our technical expert team will be replied to your on your registered email ID, which you should be mentioned in feedback form. Also, you will receive the link for our this recording. YouTube it uploaded soon on YouTube, and you will share the link via email to your registered email address.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day. Be safe.
Thank you very much, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.